You know, I really like to reflect sometimes, and my Outriders video did really well, so I wanted to take some time with you today to look back at it, reflect upon it in all of its glory. You ever get the feeling that life has it out for you? Well, it may temporarily have some life breathed back into it, but we need to find out, did they really fix everything? Is this game worth all the time that these sick-ass gamers are putting into it? Is it truly worth their time, your time, my time? Well, I'm gonna find out by playing the whole game again, the new character, again, from the beginning. But before all that, a message from today's sponsor. Yeah, I don't have a sponsor. I do have to poop though. Alright, so clearly people can fly have it out for me. I'm assuming what really happened was they tried to send a hitman out to get me after my video, and they sent him to the wrong address, and when they realized I was still alive, they just decided to update the game and fix a bunch of stuff so that I'd look like an idiot. It's working. Kind of. So now, we're gonna answer two questions. One, is the game still dead? Two, does this update fix the problems that I talked about in my previous video? Does it fix all of the issues, the problems with the story, the problems with repetitive gameplay, the networking problem? Does it fix all of those? Or is it just a minor update to the end game? Now keep in mind, I know there's a big expansion coming, and I will cover that, but I wanted to cover the game with just this update and see how it compares to how the game was before the update. I want to see how just this update changes things. And I mean see how it changes things like by actually playing, not just reading the patch notes, because anyone can read patch notes, but I want to tell you my first-hand experience playing through the whole game on the new Horizons update. A quick aside here, I understand that people tend to get upset when I say this game is dead or not because it's not supposed to be a live service game. The devs have said many times, it's not live service. However, it's got a main story that's basically just a vehicle to get you to the end game. All of the good loot is locked behind a super repetitive end game that they want you to grind over and over and over again to get all of the legendary loot and max out your character. It's got enemies that, rather than being, more difficult or creative as the game goes along, they just have more health and the game throws more of them at you. I guess my big question here is, what is this missing that this has, besides, better matchmaking, a more satisfying endgame loop, constant new events and things added and taken from the loot pool with like a dash of microtransactions? Why is this so different from this? I'm not quite sure I'm understanding. I'm not saying that spitefully, just I don't understand. Is it just the microtransactions thing? Is that all it takes to be a live service? I don't know. Help me out here. I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. I guess I just don't get it. I don't make these videos because I hate your favorite game. I just make them because I like talking about video games. So I hope you guys understand that. Sometimes I get a little vitriolic or over the top, but I gotta be funny somehow. That's assuming that you think I'm funny. I hope you think I'm funny. Okay, rant's over. I started this game all over. New character, new everything, a fresh pair of eyes, played through the whole game with my girlfriend, because I wanted to be able to figure out what is different, from start to finish, how has this update changed the gameplay experience of Outriders. I mean, the end game has been reworked. The loot drop chances, I guess, are better than they used to be. The legendary shop in the end game is better now because you can recycle what weapons are available, and you can buy different things that you couldn't before. So what's different? Let's take a close look at everything this game has to offer real quick, because I already kind of talked about it last time. I got a lot of comments last time about the story of Outriders, defending the story. The people really seem to like it. And you know what? You're allowed to like stuff. There's no problem with that. But boy, this thing is all over the place. I mean, maybe like in a vacuum, if this was the only game I played in the last like 27 years of my life, I would think the story is really good. But dude, I've played other video games before, okay? This story is not that good. The painful part is that as I'm playing the game, and I'm sure as many people played the game, you could see how the story and things could have been changed and made into something really creative and weird and unique. I mean, the main bad guy, like the end game boss, the final boss of the main story and the expeditions is introduced 80% of the way through the story when he kills one of the main characters. He just shows up. Like, never seen this guy before. He's just some dude. Again, point from the last video, just a dude. Just shows up and he happens to be there, kills one of the main characters. And now he's a final boss. Well, you fight him right then and there, and then you fight him again an hour and a half later. What happened to Milkman? I mean, you fight Moloch, and then at the end of the fight, he's like, oh, come on, is that all you got? Check this out, I'm gonna kill everybody right now. And then he turns himself into a nuclear bomb. I didn't realize he died. He dies right then and there. That shouldn't have killed. Why would he do that? Why would he just nuke himself? I don't understand. Like, we never got any explanation about the pygmy man on his back or anything. Like, you could have had 3 boss fights with that guy, right? So that boss fight is like, I want to say a third of the way through the game, maybe a little more. Had the fight with him in Trenchtown. He's got pygmy man strapped to his back, okay? He's pretty strong. Say then, 2/3 of the way through the game, you fight him again, but now that thing is detached from his back and you gotta fight both of them at the same time, and they're doing these like harmonious attacks, trapping you in like a thing of lightning chains or something, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And then, then you get to the end game and he has like fused with the pygmy thing and he's like controlling the storm, and he's like a giant storm monster like that boss that you do fight in the game, the big monster in the canyon, like that, but he's like a big, huge elemental monster. Like, that would be so cool. And you'd get to know him over the course of the game. You get to see him more and more as he morphs into this freakish, huge, disgusting monster. Could we have not done that? Could we have not had a recurring villain? Could we have not had one consistent bad guy through the whole story? Bad guys are usually the best part of a story. Hello? Spider-Man? Spider-Man 2? Not Spider-Man 3? The kicker is that not only is the final boss a guy that you just met an hour and a half before the end of the game, he recycles the moveset from a mini boss that you just fought like 30 minutes before that. You fight this like shaman guy and he's got all these unique abilities that no enemy has had up until that point in the game. It was like, wow, okay, a unique boss fight. And then they just recycle that dude and slap his abilities on the final boss. And then in the second phase of the fight, he gets like 2 extra abilities with some like chain whips. The final boss was recycled content. And like I said before, he's the final boss of the expeditions. The endgame stuff that you're supposed to really get into and do all the missions. You get to the final expedition. The final expedition is just the final boss again. Same boss. Same thing.
Why?
Shout out to the dude on People Can Fly's team that designed these motherfuckers, because without them, 25% of the game would just be gone. And when I say these ones, I don't mean like the variants of them, I just mean these. These guys make up 25% of the game, especially these ones. The alphas, oh man. Love these guys. I literally want to drop kick this man into the Bering Sea and watch him struggle and gasp for air. I hate you. They live in every biome on this planet too. They live in forests, icy mountains, jungles, deserts, open plains. I wouldn't be surprised if you had some living in your house right now. Check under the floorboards. I said it in the last video. I'm gonna say it again. The enemy variety in this game is so dismal, I want to scream. Even at the end of the game, when you're introduced to a new faction, which are these like big scary alien dudes that you've never seen before, weird, it's funny, they fight the exact same way that every other dude with a gun fights in the game. That's weird that their mannerisms are exactly the same. How can that be? Like, I don't want to harp or sound like a broken record or nothing, but I don't understand how you psychopaths burn dozens or even hundreds of hours on this game. It's so repetitive. How can you play it that much? It took me 13 hours to beat the main story, and that was a stretch. That was stretching how much I wanted to play this game. Matter of fact, I probably wouldn't have played through the whole thing if it weren't for the fact that I was playing with somebody, because friends make everything better. Like, there's better games out there. Why is it this game that you want to sink all this time into? I genuinely don't know. I don't understand. Like, the abilities are kind of fun, but again, like I said before, every class only has 3 or 4 abilities that are really good. I mean, if I had the choice between an ability that sends out a little pulse that does a status effect on enemies, or a giant fuck you laser that evaporates anything that it touches, why would I ever even consider the first one? Like, the timers were removed from the endgame to make more builds viable when you get to that point in the game, but you really can't deny that some builds and some abilities are just straight up better than others. Like, there is a meta to this game, killing things quickly, and some builds just do that much better than others. Also, the legendaries, which, now they're easier to get, they don't really feel very legendary in comparison to games like Destiny, where they have really unique abilities. Some of them just straight up suck way more than whatever purple weapon I have equipped at the time. In fact, every single legendary I've gotten, except for I think one helmet, was worse than what I currently had equipped. I don't know if that's really good or bad, if that's like, a way to look at the customization. Well, you can customize anything to make it as good as a legendary. I don't know if that's good or bad, just an observation. I don't know if I maybe expected too much from the updates, but I am looking forward to the expansion. I'm hoping it gives us some new skills, some new mods, new weapons, new enemy types. But if it doesn't add all those things, and it's just more dudes to shoot in a slightly different looking place with a new little boring chunk of story, I would be greatly disappointed. For $20, which is what it's on sale for right now, or the cost of Game Pass, I'd say it's worth checking out if you've got 1 or 2 friends to play it with. Friends make everything better, and honestly, I don't know if I could have gotten through this if I was playing by myself. I have better things to do, for the most part. Usually. On a good day. I mean, the main campaign is barely serviceable. The story could not hold my attention for more than a few minutes at a time because they missed so many opportunities for great twists and turns. Some of the cutscenes have really bad audio desync. It's kind of weird that it slipped past and it's still going on right now. I've seen reviews from other people saying the same thing since the game came out. Maybe that's not an easily fixable thing once the game has come out. I don't know. I have no idea. The constant needing to fast travel back to the truck so you can take the truck back to town to go to a person, turn in a quest, come back to the truck, go back to where you were, fast travel to your last checkpoint to pick up where you left. Like, stop. Just let me fast travel where I need to go. What is this nonsense? The little cutscenes that play when you move from one section of the map to the other stops being funny like the 3rd time it happens, let alone the 300th. Monster Hunter's been doing this for a while, different sections of the map, you just walk into it, loading screen, you're there. I don't need this little song and dance every single time I move to a new section of the map. What's the point? I mean, there's the lack of really fun or satisfying builds. There's the networking issues that still haven't been completely fixed. Some people still to this day, even after the update, can't launch the game because of some weird bug, something with Unreal Engine. I'm not sure. I heard about it, but I'm still seeing people saying that they can't launch the game still, even after the update said it would fix that issue. Being able to launch the game is pretty important. I will mention the networking issues were fewer this time, but still happened, even between just two friends playing, that not even matchmaking with another person. Just inviting a friend to the game sometimes didn't work. There is a little itch to be scratched with, you know, finding a particularly nice piece of loot, modifying a certain piece of loot to be the exact perfect thing that you want it to be. It feels nice, but it kind of just feels like it taps into that primal thing of like, ooh, shiny, and isn't really like elevating the genre or, you know, particularly unique in any way. I mean, is the end game better now? Sure. You have to get there first, you know, to actually partake in the end game content, but, you know, it's better. I'll say that. I can't argue against that. It's better. You're allowed to like what you like, but for me personally, I don't think I'll be stepping back onto the planet Enoch until the expansion comes out and I can check that out. Thanks for watching the video. I really hope you liked it. Make sure you like or dislike, even if nobody can see the dislikes. Tell me how the video made you feel. Subscribe if you want to see more, and make sure you tune into the next video where I talk about a video game that doesn't make me sad. Hopefully.